Hey, howdy, hey, people of the internet. This is Wolfman407 Dash. Today's vlog is going to be about the Wizarding World, and before I get into it, there are going to be a lot of spoilers for the Wizarding World at large. So if you've not seen any of the films, played the video games, read the books, or anything like that, best you click off now and go do all that, and then come back. I'm going to cut the video here and give all of you the time you need to move off and do all that.
"Did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire, Harry?" Dumbledore asked calmly.
Harry! I protest! Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? No, sir. Yes?
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Those of you that have stayed, well, welcome. We're now going to talk about spoilers for the films and all that. So I'm assuming you've all done it now, or you've already done it well before the video. So yay. Okay. So first of all, the films. I like all the Harry Potter films. I think there are some that are better than the others. Like, I really liked Philosopher's Stone / Sorcerer's Stone. I really also like Chamber of Secrets. Prisoner of Azkaban was interesting. I won't say it's completely terrible, but it was certainly interesting, especially with it bringing the darkness to the franchise. Goblet of Fire, I kind of enjoyed the maturity of it, but it came across to me as if it was a sort of eye candy film, because if you think about it, at the time it came out, Robert Pattinson and David Tennant were relatively unknown, and at the time they were just about to go and do the things that would have made them popular. So for David Tennant it would be Doctor Who, and for Robert Pattinson it would be Twilight. Of course we know which one is better than the other, so yeah. That, and also the young actors and actresses, to a lot of people would have probably been at the point where people would be like, "Oh, they're good looking" or something. But I digress. Anyway, so that's Goblet of Fire. Order of the Phoenix, I think, is better than the book, because anybody who's read the book will know it is a very long book, and there's a lot of political elements to it and all sorts of stuff that has made people not really like the book as much as they like the film. The film, definitely a lot better. I definitely think Imelda Staunton as, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, as Professor Umbridge was a great casting choice. She plays that character really well. And I just love the scene where she and Maggie Smith, who plays Professor McGonagall, just keep going up those stairs arguing, and yeah, such a great moment. So yeah, that's Order of the Phoenix. Half-Blood Prince is my personal all-time favourite film, because I consider it a calm before the storm. There isn't so much action in it like the rest of the films, but there are like sort of comedic moments, dark moments, and it just puts everything into place for what would be the big two-part grand finale of the Harry Potter saga, as I'd like to call it. Bringing us on to Deathly Hallows Part 1. I think it was a good call for the filmmakers to make it a two-part story rather than have it in one big part, because it just means they'll be able to cover as much as they can and not have to cut a lot of things out, although they did end up cutting some things out, like what was it? There was this deleted scene where it's an extended sort of goodbye to Dursleys, and Dudley actually steps up and says to Harry that he's not a waste of space after everything he's put him through, which I think is a great scene that should have been kept. But I especially enjoyed Part 1 because of how some of the fates of the characters are portrayed. Like, I know for Hedwig in the books, it's implied that she's stuck in a cage and dies, whereas in the film she actually fights to protect Harry before she makes the sacrifice to ensure that he is able to get to the Burrow in time before any other Death Eater tries to stop him in his tracks. So yeah, that's the Harry Potter.
Objection!
Oh, hold on, forgot one. Whoops. Then Part 2 of the Deathly Hallows is a good end. I like the Battle of Hogwarts. I like all the stuff that happens within it, like Harry learning some stuff and also finally learning that he too is a Horcrux. So yeah, there's all that stuff going on. And yeah, it was a great end to the Harry Potter saga. It's no secret that I'm not keen on actors that feel like they're being forced to act, and particularly with the young cast, although perfectly understandable because they are growing up with the films as much as some of us are, because I'm a person that did actually grow up with the films myself. That sometimes the acting could feel a little bit forced, but it was okay for the most part, and I think they did really well with what they were given from the directors and all that. So yeah, and then after that we had Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I've never seen the play, and the most I've done with that is just read the script book that was for the play. I've heard the play is not exactly brilliant, because there's a lot of timey-wimey messing up and all that, so yeah, probably best you avoid that. Fantastic Beasts, it's a trilogy that kind of felt the same, that's sort of like gone the same way as the likes of the Jurassic World trilogy, the Star Wars sequel trilogy, the most recent Halloween film trilogy, in that the very first film is really good, second one mixed bag, and then the third one, and it's kind of no surprise to me that the third one didn't do as well as the other films. It's not terrible per se, but there's a lot of stuff in there that's just a bit, I don't know how to put it really, just a bit too much. And not only that, but it did come out during the time when there was a sort of, people were not sure if they wanted to continue being fans for the Wizarding World or not because of the views that J.K. Rowling had. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. We know this, and you know, so what? So what if she said what she said? If you don't like what she has to say, you don't like what she has to say. But that doesn't mean you can't be who you want to be. I'd say be who you want to be. Identify as what you want to identify as. Use the pronouns that you want to use, and all that jazz. And don't let anybody like her sort of tell you otherwise not to do that. So that brings me nicely on to Hogwarts Legacy, the video game that I've been playing on this channel for a while now. I am enjoying it, and I think it's a well-made game, but there are stuff that I don't particularly like about it, and stuff that I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable by. The main things for me are the whole sort of thing about supremacy on trying to get rid of these goblins. And yes, it is set in the Goblin Rebellion era of the Wizarding World, which is okay, but is a bit of a delicate time and something that you need to be very careful about. And I'm reassured in knowing that the developers did take great care in that, and the only goblins you do have to defeat or kill or whatever are the ones that are sort of part of that cult of goblins led by the main bad guy goblin, who I, for the life of me, can't remember his name. You can tell me in the comments what it is. I have come across him in the game, as you know, but yeah, there's so much one can remember, so yeah. And I also don't like the fact that there's no morality system in the game. Like, in the films and the books and whatever, points are awarded if you do well, points are deducted if you don't do so well or you break the rules or whatever. And I just don't feel comfortable that to have like a Hogwarts experience, surely getting points or not getting points should be a part of that. Getting house points, because isn't that the point of going to Hogwarts, to not only learn all these different life lessons, spells, potions and all that, but isn't it also to sort of compete to see who is the best house? Because every house, as we all know, has their own different qualities, and they value all these different traits for characters. Like, I know the big thing for Gryffindor is courage, the big thing for Slytherin is cunning, the big thing for Hufflepuff is honesty, and the big thing for Ravenclaw, I can't remember for the life of me remember, but there's loads of them. There's loads of traits for those houses. And the other thing I don't particularly I'm not also keen on about the game is that you're able to learn the unforgivable curses. Now, as we all know, there's like 3 of them. One that actually kills a person, another that causes excruciating pain on a person, and for the life of me, I can't remember what the third one is, but I'm sure it's to do with sort of messing with your head or something. Trying to persuade you to do something or something. I don't know. Again, it's another thing I feel uncomfortable about learning in the game, but I'm only learning them in the game so I can complete it 100% if I can, and only using them if I have to, like as a last resort. So, for example, if I have to use one to fulfill an optional dueling feat when you're fighting all those different bad guys, then I'll do it. If I have to do it as part of a quest, then I'll do it, and all that stuff. I don't feel comfortable using it, but I will use them just to get progress in the story. And the news I've heard about the Harry Potter TV series, I mean, I've got mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I think it would be good to see a new take on the story, especially as I've heard it's meant to be more faithful to the books. But at the same time, I do kind of feel annoyed that after everything that's happened and people sort of not liking the Wizarding World because of what J.K. Rowling has been saying, that this is the way forward for Warner Brothers. I just don't know how else to go about it. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fine, because we've seen how Game of Thrones plays out, and that's got a largely British cast in it. So if that's done well, then I'm sure the series will do well. It's just knowing that this series is rebooting the film franchise in a way that so many people have grown up with and so many people have worked on, to the point where it's actually gained iconic status. So I don't know if this series will even get the iconic status. I don't even know if it will last beyond 1 season. I mean, if it does, great, go them. But if it doesn't, then they tried something, it didn't work, so best to move on to the next thing. Whether that be continue the games from Hogwarts Legacy or the mobile games, because I'm one of the people that plays Hogwarts Mystery, which even though is more tied to the Harry Potter timeline, unlike Hogwarts Legacy, it's still not great because of the whole free-to-play nonsense. You know most of you know what I mean when I say free-to-play. It's not really free-to-play. And the attractions are still going. We've still got the making of Harry Potter in London, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and the Universal theme parks. Got a few. I know there's an art gallery in London as well where you can actually buy butterbeer. The London King's Cross shop as well, and all those different unofficial Harry Potter shops that we have around as well. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to continue being a fan of the Wizarding World or not. Don't let anybody decide for you because of the politics that have been going on behind the scenes. And yeah, I still consider myself a fan. I do follow what's going on in the news, but I try and stay out of it as much as I can, because I've been in situations where I've tried to explain stuff to people and all that, and it's just not worked out. So yeah. Anyway, that's the end of this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Do check out the Wizarding World stuff if you can, and make your own conclusion as to whether you want to like it or not, as with all things. And I'd love to hear what you think about what I've said in the comments down below. And as always, please like and subscribe as well. And I'll see you in the next one.